I'm joined by the Palestinian ambassador to the UK now, Husam Zomlot. Good evening, Ambassador. What more can you tell us about this incident with Aysenur Ezgi?
It's really devastating for us, the Palestinian people, the Palestinian leadership, because seeing our people being murdered on a mass scale is something, and also seeing people of moral high grounds, of conscience, like this 26-year-old American who comes to Palestine as a peace activist to help protect, at the time when her government is failing to protect children from the wrath of Israeli settler terrorism and Israeli army violence, gets shot in her head and succumbs to her wounds. Truly devastating. And it tells you all what you need to know, because nobody can say they didn't know. Israel has been doing this for a long time. It's chronic. And the US keeps saying that they are devastated, that they are appalled. But this is not the first American to be killed, murdered by Israeli soldiers and settlers. Rachel Corrie, more than 25 years ago, was killed as she was trying to protect Palestinian children, actually to be precise, in 2003. And not just Americans, also British. Tom Handel, a young 22-year-old British who's a photographer, when trying to cuddle a Palestinian child, was shot in the head again by an Israeli sniper. All that you have followed in the last few months, the aid workers, the World Kitchen, 3 of them is British aid workers. And
Ambassador, I wonder what you make of, we've had statements from, as we just played there, from Secretary of State Antony Blinken. We've also had a statement from the White House calling for an investigation, saying they have asked Israel to answer their questions about this. Is the US doing enough on the situation in the West Bank?
Absolutely not. I mean, calling for Israel to investigate Israel's own war crimes, calling for the war criminals to come up with a verdict about themselves. Look, when an American citizen is killed anywhere else in the world, the US is swift in sending the FBI and sending their own crews in enacting international judicial mechanisms and courts. But always when it comes to Israel, the US is completely impotent. And so is the rest of the West, by the way. And that's why Israel has gotten used to Saima. Israel has gotten used to this utter impunity and killing with complete free hand of peace activists. These youngsters...
Well, they say they will look into it.
They have been saying this for 76 years. You know how many cases? Oh, we are looking into it. And I assure you, next time you and I will be talking about the next peace activist Israel would have murdered. And they would say, they would say we are looking.
Up to date on the situation in Jenin, because Israeli forces have now pulled out of that area.
Yeah, they have pulled out, leaving a tsunami, an earthquake that is man-made by them, complete utter mass murder and mass destruction of the basic infrastructure in the city, including roads, sewage system, water treatment plants, hospitals, schools. They are doing exactly what they're doing in Gaza in Jenin, because never the target is these few youngsters who are completely disenfranchised from the whole political situation. That's not the target. They have inflated this phenomena that is Israel.
And to what extent is the Palestinian Authority engaging with the government? Because, of course, it is the Palestinians have their own governance of the West Bank. To what extent are they engaging with the Israeli government to try to negotiate better circumstances, at least in West Bank? Because obviously it's a different circumstance in Gaza.
The Palestinian Authority and the Palestinian government institutions is a target of the Israeli occupation forces, a big target. And it's not a secret that they have been withholding our own money. They have been really pushing for the Palestinian Authority to collapse from within, employing all sorts of policies and actions to weaken any national governance there. They are targeting the government in Gaza, targeting the government in the West West Bank and everywhere.
We don't hear much, though, do we, from the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank, notably since October the 7th. Obviously, you come on Sky News and engage with us, which we really appreciate, but the Palestinian Authority has not been particularly vocal.
You know, I represent the PLO, and the state of Palestine has its institutions, and I appear with you because I happen to be the ambassador to the UK and you are London-based, but my colleagues speak in many other platforms. Our position has been very clear from day one. This atrocious genocidal aggression must immediately end and permanently end. We need to see massive humanitarian assistance. We need to see reconstruction, and we need to see accountability. That's why it was the Palestinian national institutions, the PLO and the PA, that went to the ICC, and that's why Netanyahu himself stood 2 days ago in a press conference complaining about the PA, claiming that the PA is engaged in accountability against Israel, the ICC, and what have you. Yes, we are fully committed to international legality, to the international rule of law, and that's how we want to bring an end to these atrocities, and not only to end it now, but to make sure it will never happen again. And the only way to do so is to bring those war criminals to justice, is to make sure that they are behind bars, including Netanyahu and Gallant and all those who took part in that.
I would like to ask you about bringing the hostages home as well, but we've run out of time. Ambassador Husam Zomlot, thanks very much indeed for coming to speak to us on Aysenur Ezgi. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.